parents were 48 at the time, and they died intestate without a will. I had to go to the probate court lots of times. They had to get an attorney for the unknown heirs. There were no other heirs in our family, but we had to deal with that, and so many times going back to the court and deal with the depositions and statements that there were no other heirs. You wouldn't leave the other people not knowing what to do or what you wanted to do or where everything was. And I think that if there was any message that could be, is that I hope that at least I address and write down where my accounts are, where the safety boxes are, where insurance policies are, so that you don't leave something out there because you just don't know. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that old maxim, you don't know what you don't know, and it plays really big in these type of matters and everything. And I think the fact that you're in such an emotional state with this, it's hard to focus clearly and get your thoughts together to move forward. So having something there, prepared, would have been much you when you were able to refocus your thoughts. You'd have a plan of action to go and follow.
A lot of times you can get a basic will in place without too much, but a basic will isn't really sufficient. There's a lot of things that need to be in there to really ensure the family has their intentions met. So I think it's very important to work with an attorney, and taking shortcuts is just not doing the right thing. People say, I don't have so much money that I need a will. And it's like, well, the system is not very friendly. There's plenty of examples of people I know that every time they want to have money for the child, they have to go petition it from an administrator at the court. It's really a humiliating process that doesn't end until the child's 18, and a simple will would have taken care of that. It's one of these things that's so important, but it's never urgent. And if I could just get families to take action to take care of these things, it's never the right time. There's always something to do that's more urgent, but there's nothing more important.
And having the will and the trust and the financial advisor too was all extremely important, and I'm so glad we did it.
I know that because there was no legal aspects, there was no will left behind, it made it difficult for the family members who wanted to try and help to be involved and get the money and the care that they needed for the kids. The hardest thing to do is to take that step, is to do it. We don't like to think about our own mortality and that we might not always be here for our children. But it's sadder to think of the fact of not being here for our children and not having anything to take care of them.
Yeah, I guess my own personal lingering feelings was still that just disappointment. I didn't think that that's what my father would have ever envisioned happening, that all that would have transpired. I don't think my mother ever meant for it to kind of go in that direction as well. And I guess the feeling was that there was a lot of hard work in all their years in life, and it really didn't go in the direction that they would have intended. And so it's just kind of always that nagging feeling of, I don't think that's what they wanted. It's hard enough when you lose your family member, but then to not have things in place where it's clear and it can be enforced, it really created an atmosphere that was very hard and very difficult to let that mourning just go on with peace and knowing that everyone's wishes was taken care of. Instead, there was lots of confusion, there was anger, there was in my family.